Welcome back, everybody. WHIP Radio in Philadelphia. Time in the WHIP studios is 11:15. The Phillies have a day game today up in New York going up against the defending NL champions in the New York Mets. And now joining us on the hotline is the World Series 2008 champion manager for your Philadelphia Phillies, and that is Charlie Manuel. Charlie, it's Zach and Mike. Thanks for a few minutes, and how are you, my friend?
Yeah, it's good to be on the air with you guys.
Well, thank you for coming on, and we appreciate the time today. So in my research for this interview, I actually found out that you played baseball in Japan from 1976 to 1981. What do you remember about your days in Japan playing baseball?
Well, I remember the culture change in it. I remember at the start how difficult that it was for me, but at the same time, once I learned places to go and like in restaurants to eat in and things like that. And the fact that you practice baseball quite, like much more than you do here in the States. And I got used to it, and after a year or so, I really liked it. It was very professional, and financially, it definitely was rewarding to me, and I really enjoyed playing there.
And also, your nickname, and excuse my pronunciation on this, but I believe it's right, was Aka Oni. How'd that nickname come about, and what does it mean?
My nickname was Aka Oni because they called me the Red Devil because I played hard. And I was a American. They called Americans Gaijin, and I was I was a Gaijin, I guess because I was a redneck.
as Charlie Manuel joins us on the hotline right now, and you know how hungry Philadelphia is for another championship, and the professional teams aren't at the level that Philadelphia fans expect. That last championship here in Philadelphia was in 2008, and you delivered it at home when Brad Lidge struck out the final batter for Tampa Bay. Just what do you remember about winning that World Series and that final pitch by Brad Lidge?
Well, I remember the pitch well. I remember the count. I remember the inning. I'm still wondering why Upton didn't try to steal second base because Brad was slow to the plate, like 1-6 something, and for some reason he didn't want to steal second base, and there was a hit in that inning that would have probably tied the game up. But at the same time, he struck. I think what's the guy's name? Hensky out to end the game, and I remember it well. I remember him sitting down, kind of had his knees on the mound, and looking up to the sky, and Ruiz running out to him, and all the players kind of went berserk, and the fans and the stands was really rocking, a lot of energy. I remember just sitting there in the dugout, taking it all in.
And when you win a championship, you get a parade. There's nothing like a parade in Philadelphia. You hear all those great stories about those Flyers teams, also the Phillies in 1980. And then today you even have a parade for Villanova, who won the national championship in basketball. So just how fun was that parade being the head honcho of it?
I tell you, the parade I had was absolutely probably one of the greatest things in my life as far as enjoyment and also seeing a lot of people happy. To me, I think it was big. It was big, much bigger than I realized, and I thought it would be. And it just shows you how much Philadelphia, the people in Philadelphia appreciated winning, and how loyal our fans are, and also the people around the state of Pennsylvania that kept up with us. And everywhere I go to this day, everywhere I go in Pennsylvania or Jersey or that part over near in New Jersey, people, they want to come up and talk to me, and they always talk about us winning the World Series.
And we're talking to former Phil skipper and Charlie Manuel. And Charlie, at what point did you know you had something special in that 2008 team? Was there any specific moment or game where you can look back and say, wow, that proved we were a resilient bunch?
If you remember, the Mets had a really good team that year, and we started playing our best baseball, I want to say, about around the middle of August. We went on a road trip in Chicago and was playing the Cubs, and we lost a couple tough games, where we had leads, and at the end we blew the games. But at the same time, I think that really picked us up, And from there, we really closed out probably the last 6 weeks of baseball, like is about as good as you can play. And I think it all really got back to 2007 when we got beat by Colorado in the playoffs 3 straight. And when we went to spring training that year, like you could tell that, like we had something special going on, and how our players went about, their business and practice and, like in talking, and it was just a tremendous aura in the air, and the fans talked about it, like everybody was, and our organization was up, and you could feel it. And then, of course, when we won the last game of the season, when Rollins turned the double play and Lidge was on the mound, and that set the stage for Cole Hamels to pitch the first game of the playoffs. And things fell in place for us, and Hamels always got the pitching the turn or the first round of the first game of the playoff round, and definitely I think that set the stage for us to have our pitching organized, and of course we played real good. We played super baseball against Tampa.
Now, I want to bring you back to the start of your days in Philadelphia. After you started out in Cleveland and then you came over to Philadelphia in the early 2000s, how important was it being that special assistant to the GM? What did you learn in that position before taking over as manager?
Well, like when I went through our organization, I spent a lot of time in the minor league, and back then I would go sit on the bench and I would get to know our players. And, of course, I got to see Utley, Hamels, Matson, and and the guys in the minor, Ryan Howard, the guys in the minor leagues. Plus, I got to talk to them, and and I got to coach some of them a little bit, and things like that. And I got to know them real good. And then when I looked around and I saw what we had to major league level, I knew that we could have something special. And if you remember at my first press conference, I said that I came there to win, and I felt like that. That we definitely had the talent to be something special, and chance of course to compete for a few years.
You take a look inside the NL East. The Mets went through a rebuilding phase, and now the Phillies are in that rebuilding phase. And like the Phillies, like how the Mets were, they're trying to get to that glory days. And now you see McCannon and Klentak. They're in here in Philadelphia. McCannon, they brought him back. Klentak is that new voice in the general manager position. Just how much confidence do you have in those two individuals?
I have a lot of confidence in them. I look at our system, and and some of the things that we did last year. When we accumulated a lot of pitching, definitely, talented pitchers with big arms, and they got big fastballs, and they got good secondary stuff. And now, we're going through a process of basically teaching and learning, and the pitchers are learning, how to pitch, command and control. And and studying the game and mastering our craft, and once we do that, I figure that we've got so many arms actually that some of them are going to be real good, and of course all of them are not going to be good, but some of them are definitely going to be good, and that's kind of where we're coming from. And also we've got enough position players, definitely in the minor leagues, that are prospects, and the same thing. A lot of those guys are going to show up in the big leagues. And within the next year or two, and I think everything is going to work out good. So far I've been very happy with Matt, and Pete McCannon. Of course he's been around a long time, and he deserves a chance to get to manage, and this is a good chance for him.
And also, you take a look at that hot corner position, and I agree with you. I think the Phillies are moving in the right direction. Franco, what makes him so special, and what type of season do you expect out of him? I know he already hit a home run on the young season.
Very, very talented guy. Hit his way through the minor leagues. He definitely earned a chance at the major league level. And then when they called him up last year, of course, he took off, and he kind of showed what he can do. He's a tremendous defender. He's going to be an outstanding defensive player, but the biggest thing about him probably is going to be his bat, because he's going to hit some homers, and I think he's going to hit for a high average. I think that he's a prototype third baseman, and I think he's going to be around a long time, and definitely he's going to play a part in the Phillies, like getting back being a contender.
And everyone obviously knows about Franco in this city, as he's already made a name for himself in his young career. Who is someone who might not even be on the Phillies right now, but is a part of the system that you think will be a household name in about 3-4 years?
I think we got some guys in the minor leagues that definitely can be big players. I think Knapp's going to be a good hitter. I think Faro's going to be a good hitter. I mean, we're talking about good players, but not only that, both of those guys are good catchers. I think Roman Quinn's going to be. He's a very high talented kid, and he's going to be like an energy player because of his speed and his switch hitter. And last year he was really putting his game together, and he got injured, and now this year he's healthy. I think you look back, we got Crawford at shortstop. People talk about him. And these guys. Actually, when I think about it, we probably got Cousins, we got Hoskins, they're young guys, but at the same time, we're looking at some of these guys being premier players in the major league.
And what was it like for you personally to be inducted into the Phillies Wall of Fame?
I think that was absolutely. I think it was fantastic. I think everything about it. I'm grateful and I'm very humble about being around. The great. Some of the great players in baseball, like Mike Smith, Steve Carlton, and guys like that. People like Dallas Green, like Larry Boa. I can't, I can go on. I don't want to miss people, but at the same time, just being around those baseball people, I think that's quite an honor.
You know it better than anyone. In Philadelphia, when you're winning, they tell you, hey, you're great. And when they're losing, you hear it from the fans. Just what makes being a leader or a manager, in your case, in Philadelphia just so special after going through it all those years?
I think first of all that we had to win. And our players definitely, help keep me there. And as long as I was there, as long as we were winning and things like that. But at the same time, I think in the fact that the fans got a chance to know me and they accepted me as the manager of the Phillies team, and I think that I was very fortunate. And we had some tremendous players and we had some big years. And it's too bad that we. I couldn't have stretched it out farther, but at the same time, too, rebuilding does come in baseball, and that's kind of where the Phillies are at right now.
We're spending a few more minutes with the 2008 World Series champion manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, and that is Charlie Manuel, one of those players that made an enormous impact on your team in that run to the World Series championship was Ryan Howard. Now Ryan Howard is on his way out here in Philadelphia. What do you think he has left in the tank for this season, Charlie?
I think right now, I think in the last first 3 games, I think he's come out, he's swinging the bat pretty good, and and hopefully, he'll just be, he'll stay healthy, and all he's got to do is just be a little bit more consistent than he has been the last 2 years, and up his average a little bit. I think his home runs will be there. If he, I think his production will show up. If he just can be more consistent hitting the baseball, and can concentrate on hitting the ball hard. And I think it's usually that he still has enough in the tank to have a good year.
It was a tough way to start the season for the Phillies so far. They're 0-3, and their bullpen has been a disaster in the early stages of the season. Just being someone that's been a manager for a full 162 and then even more in the postseason, how would you regain the confidence of that bullpen after their slow start?
No, they got some big arms down there. Some of the guys that they've put in has got good stuff. It's just a matter of time. They started the season, they were 0-3. They got the 159 more games to play, 158. 158, I think, or whatever, 159. But they're home now, and I think it might take a little while, but at the same time, they're going to straighten things out. They got the talent on their team. I think when it's all said and done, when they go out there, if they learn to come to the ballpark and they love playing and they love coming to the yard every day, and with the mindset and the fact that like they can relax and go play their game and show their skills. I think during the season, if you look up, they're going to improve, and you like what they can do. I think they got to play and kind of show us, and I think that's kind of how the game going. It's an everyday thing, and you got to stay positive and you got to stay up. And I think that they have some guys on their team that can do that.
Before we let you run, let's get to their opponent for the next 3 games, and that's the Mets. They got to the World Series last year and lost to the Royals in 5 games, but that Mets lineup was basically like a AAA lineup in June and July until they made that big trade for Cespedes, Juan Uribe, and Kelly Johnson, and that changed the mentality of this team, but still that pitching staff kept them in it, and they have an ace so much every night, whether it's Syndergaard, Harvey, DeGrom, Matz, and they even have Wheeler coming back from Tommy John surgery later on in the summer. Just how about that Mets rotation, Charlie? As a fan of the game, it's something really fun to watch.
They got a big time rotation. They got power. They got tremendous off secondary stuff as far as breaking balls and change up. And I'm gonna tell you something. Their rotation, if not the best rotation in that division, are in the National League. Like you can argue about that, but because they're that good. But at the same time, they still go out. They still have to go out, and they got to play every day, and they got to be consistent, and they got to stay focused, and you can show how good they are. Just because that you won last year, it's not a guarantee that you're gonna win this year. So they got the talent, they got they got the big pitchers, and definitely they got a great chance to be there. But at the same time, they still got to go play. And if a Phillies, when the Phillies are playing them, they got to do the same thing. Baseball is a funny game. You never know what's going to happen, and you have to play the game. And if you play it hard and sometimes things go your way and you have some luck, you can be more successful than you think you can.
I don't know if you saw this, but Syndergaard threw a 95-mile-an-hour slider the other day. How the heck do you hit a 95-mile-an-hour slider?
When you see it, I guess you swing where you think the ball is going to be. But at the same time, you're right. I mean, I look at their pitchers, and they have phenomenal stuff. And when they make good pitches, of course they're hard to hit. But at the same time, when a guy's up there hitting, and you can you really concentrating on what you're doing, and you never know because you're battling, and you put the ball in play, you got a chance.
I bet you Alcone could hit that one, though, if we were playing in Japan. But, Charlie, we appreciate the time today. Thanks so much, and it's always great to talk to you.
Thank you, guys. I enjoyed being on the show.
Thanks so much. There is Charlie Manuel, the 2008 World Series champion manager for your Philadelphia Phillies. Always a treat to talk to him. 215-204-WHIP is the number. Time in the WHIP studios is 11:34. And we'll take a quick break right now. When we get back, we got to transition it to a little hoops talk as the voice of the NBA on ABC, Mike Breen, will join us, and he will get us all caught up to date on this entire mess with the Sixers as Sam Hinkie has resigned. He's Mike Zahn. I'm Zach Gelb. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in a minute.